here I am standing in front of Çatalhöyük, and I'm going to give it just 1 minute. I wonder if you can pick up this call here in the background. Çatalhöyük is in the central plains of Turkey, and so I'm surrounded right now by a farming region. Agriculture is huge here. They grow a ton of wheat and barley type crop. And driving here, I pass so many, small little settlements, and each one has a mosque, and I'm in the center of it. I hope you can hear that. It's absolutely gorgeous. So this must be the settlement closest to Çatalhöyük. They're called a prayer. There's something incredibly magic about standing here in the middle of the plains with these mountains in the background, gorgeous clouds overhead, and that absolutely haunting call to prayer coming over the plains. And all of this is happening as I'm about to walk into Çatalhöyük, which is about 9,400 years old. I'm going to just step away and give you an image of the outside of the site. It's about 9,400 years old, and a lot of people consider it the planet's first city. As you know from Leo's lecture, it was missing some key markers of a city, such as division of labor. But that aside, we'll call it one of the planet's oldest and largest towns. And here we are on the inside. It's September, and it's probably about 56 degrees outside. I was surprised how chilly it got here in the plains of Turkey. But inside this building, it's much warmer. The thing has been covered, the site's been covered with, very, very thick plastic awning to protect it from the weather. And I would guess it's probably about 80 degrees in here. So here I am standing in front of the first site, which appears to be the most well dug out also. As you'll see in this site, there are what were probably ovens and or storage spaces that are marked and very well dug. So as an archaeologist, you don't just get to come in and excavate the main room. You have to sit there and dig out each oven, each storage space. And if you've ever done a really good deep cleaning on a very dirty oven, you can only imagine how tedious it must be to dig out an oven in an archaeological dig. So we're standing in front of Building 5, and I'll give you some of the literature here. It's saying that house demolition was very structured and often involved the ritualistic-like burial of objects. So I'm assuming that means that each time they added a layer to a house, that it was a very ritualistic process. They didn't just, demolish the existing floor. And the burial of objects in floors underneath the level they were building were also placed very ritualistically. And as you can see, all of the different layers here. Apparently, some of these buildings, some of these homes have as many as 64 layers, and others have none. Let's see. I'm sorry, not layers. Bodies. Excuse me. Some have as many as 64 bodies buried in the floors, and others have none. And this is saying that, you can find a lot of different tools, including obsidian blades, found in these homes. And this is an image of 2 sheep horns they found. And apparently there was a clay ball placed in between the 2 horns. They're thinking it was deliberate. And these clay balls are what you saw in the visitor center. They were thought to have been used in cooking. After being heated in the fire, they'd be placed in a cooking pot with water and meat or vegetables. Now, I'm going to show you the house plan for Building 5. So this is a diagram of all the different layers of this home. I'm going to walk and give you a brief overview of the rest of the site, though, again, that appears to be the most well dug out house. These others are in various stages of completion. And again, this project has been ongoing since the 50s, and thinking about digging out one of those ovens, you can only imagine, the man hours that have to go into digging out even a single layer. Now I'm standing in front of Building 77, and I believe that this might be probably the second most excavated site. And there's a plaque that says that they wanted to dig here because they usually find more things in burned buildings. And apparently this building ended up ending its life in a big fire. And it says that you can see traces of the fire on the walls. So maybe here in this top layer it looks a bit gray, possibly there. We're seeing evidence of, smoke damage, fire damage. And apparently they don't know yet whether the burning was an accident. Some members of the team think the houses were intentionally burned. And this fire might have been a way of kind of ritualistically, closing the house so that a new one could be built on top of it. So right here we're looking at the main room of this house, and against the far wall are the remains of the ladder and oven. I'm going to continue on now. Hassan is the man who's kind of running the show right now with all the archaeologists gone. And he opted not to come up here with me, but I'm still going to be very respectful, and I'm not going to go off the path. So I'll just show you what I can see from walking along. I almost get a sense of like an Indiana Jones walkway here. Of course, without the death-defying heights and alligators underneath. Crocodiles. Thank God. So it looks like there's just some local plants popping in from the wall. And all of these sandbags, I'm just speculating, but I'm assuming that although they have this thing pretty shored up, maybe the sandbags are to prevent the rooms that they're digging out from getting any water damage, from getting washed out, just in case there are leaks. Now, walking around, looks like, what do we have over here? That almost looks like an apple core, which I'm assuming is modern. Doesn't look very well preserved, or it looks too well preserved. Oh, now on this wall, it looks like we're getting to see some artwork. So something similar to one of the panels that we saw in the guest center. The red shading. Now here we are in front of building 52. Well, let's see, I'm looking for, there's a sign that says there is a bull's head in its original position somewhere over on the north wall or the wall on the right. Let's see. I'm going to zoom in here and hopefully you can see it. I don't have a clear image of where it might be. That's too bad. It might be in one of these holes, in one of the excavated areas. Or it's possible that they've removed it. I actually see what looks like this crescent shape. I wonder if at one point in time the bull's horns had been in there. So apparently, most of these rooms have double walls. Each house had its own 4 walls, but they were built very close together, so they doubled up. Okay, so before we go, I'm just going to walk briefly over to this side, make sure we're not missing anything. I thank you for coming on the tour with me, and I'm sorry there wasn't an archaeologist here to give it to you, but wow, you can get a really good feel for the place this way. And I'm sure most of the archaeologists who have worked on this site, you know, many of them anyway, have devoted their careers to it, like Ian Hodder, so imagine this having been your office for 20 years. Okay, I'll see you at the South Building. See you there.